Hello, friends. Kim Barnes-Waterman here. Welcome to Read, Road, Rambling. That was me editing. That's how you do it without doing it. Okay. One day I will edit. Today I wanted to shout out my dad. Is that amazing? Shout out my dad because I was thinking about how I learned to budget and to be responsible. And if I trace it back, I can trace it back to my dad and example. Okay, not a course, not a different teacher, not something that I took. I think there's lots of tools to help us in those areas. But honestly, I don't think we realize the influence and the impact and the example that we have on other people, even going about our day. And years later, something happens like, wow, that influenced me so much. So number one, caution to me, observation to you that we're being watched. We're going to influence for better or for worse. So, hey, let's make it for better, okay? But the story with my dad and how I learned to be responsible, to budget, to make choices was I can remember my dad getting paid on Fridays, getting home at 5:15. Had a $20 bill in his hand after the budgeting was done, because there was always a budget. It was just my mom, my dad, my brother, and myself. But he's a hardworking guy, man, and we lived poor, okay? But we made it stretch. So he had a $20 bill in his hand, and he would say, this is what we have for groceries this week. All right, so this is back in the 70s. This is what we have for groceries this week. And when we meet that $20, we stop buying. Simple concept. He didn't preach it. He didn't stretch it. He didn't subtract. He didn't add. He just said, this is the facts of the matter. So we would go down with our little selves down the block to PNC, right? And being a good dad who wanted to do something sweet for his kids, he would always say, all right, here's the soda pop section. Okay, back then Party Club was the cheap soda, but boy, it was good. And you can choose from this row right here, any soda you want. You can get all the same kind. You can mix it up. You get lots of different kinds, but you get 6 cans of soda each. They're probably 10 cents a can. That was our treat. But we got to choose. And he'd say, get your 6 cans, bring them home. He'd say, now you can drink them all in one night if you want to. It's your choice. Or you can space them out and drink one a day for 6 days. And then by the time we go back to the grocery store with our $20, you will have had a day of soda every day and kind of stretch it out. Your choice. He'd say, if it was me, I'd stretch it out and I'd drink one a day, but hey, it's your choice. And that is how I learned week after week after week for several years that you don't go over $20. If we did, by chance, we just put something back. We never went over $20. And you get 6 cans of soda, that's your treat. Guzzle it all down in one night. And if we did that, right, and we did it lots of times, oh, we're so happy to have Party Club soda. We feel rich. We'd end up, going to the bathroom and puking our guts out. And my dad would just sit there with his paper and his popcorn, never said a word. Because, that's what happens when you choose. And now you're going to have to pay the price. Never said a word. Never said, I told you so. Never said, I think you should. He just let us feel the consequence of our choice. And seriously, that influence year after year, that stability, that intelligence to not preach to me, to not hypocrite me, just to show the example. Here's $20. It's done. We're done. Here's 6 cans of soda. Do what you want. But never did he ever offer to or buy us extra soda. We probably begged. Never did he ever say, well, okay, I feel bad. It's your birthday week, so we'll get you. Never. It was, you made the choice, and this is how it's worked out for you. And he never even said, think about it next time. But he didn't have to, because he set the example. He was always so steady and just like matter of fact. Yeah, that's the choice. Isn't that amazing? So for me, I wish I had thought about this more when I had kids at home, okay? Why is it until we're like in our 60s when we realize, we could be doing some smart stuff? I wish I'd realized this more when my kids are home, the effect that we have just living our lives every day, going through life, talking to people, setting examples, making choices. We will influence for better or for worse. I wish I'd realized this more when I was young, but I didn't, and I do now, so I can share the message that a million people have spoke up and stood, told. Let's be kind to each other and let's set good examples. Consistency, not demeaning people, not belittling people, not making them feel stupid. Just here's your choice and letting them live with the consequence and figure out next time maybe I should do this a little bit better. So that is a huge shout out to my dad. I learned so much, and I think there's a lot of aspects that I carry even today. Listen, I've never had a credit card. I wouldn't even know what to do with a credit card. Never had one. Okay? I'm not in debt at all. I'm not in debt, and it's not because I'm rich, and it's not because I'm doing anything spectacular. I think I just learned from my dad. You don't pay for stuff that you don't have the money for. You put that back. Don't worry about it. I learned from Elizabeth Elliot through words and by example. If there's something you want, write it down on a list and wait 3 days. Don't go purchase it. Wait 3 days and see how much you want it in 3 days. And I've learned and used that rule several times. It's for whatever you needed, a rug or a new small appliance or whatever. Wait 3 days and see if you really, really want it. So that was a good tip I got from her too. I'm telling you, these older folks, shout out to old folks. Man, they lived life. They went through hard stuff. They dealt in all kinds of areas. They had respect. They had stability. They understood choices, cause and effect, consequences. And they did it. They paid the price when they screwed up and they learned from it. So let's be more like that. Okay, shout out to George Barnes. See you next week.